I'm gonna just record because the audio works, and I'll just figure out my my webcam as I'm doing this. What is this? I don't use Skype much, man, but it's.
Is there a different way you want to do it?
No. This is fine. Has something changed for you now? Oh shit. Oh man. Oh, what's this? Oh man, that's wild. Do you want to do it like this?
In the frickin' jungle, bro. I like it.
It's kind of nice, man. These two shirtless guys. Look at it. We're like chroma keyed in.
This is pretty dope, dude.
It's
I like
dope.
it.
Yeah, I like it too. All right. Well, this is it then. I'm live. I'm recording. This is the podcast. This is the start, I guess. Tyler Todt, as I just found out. Thank you so much for being on MJ Trips. I'm for real. I'm just gonna be real. Like, I'm super not like anxious, more like excited. You know what I mean? It's like it's so unreal to fucking talk to you because I you know, people talk a lot about how Twitter is such a negative space, and people are always like, no man, you gotta delete Twitter. I deleted Twitter for my sanity, and I'm like, you got an algorithm, right? And you're probably seeing all this negative shit because you're interacting with it, right? And if you start following inspiring people like you, and like there's a bunch of fucking like Dan Go, whatever, you know, there's so many inspiring people, and if you just get those in your timeline, then the time that you spend scrolling Twitter, because everybody does it anyways, right? It becomes super. I mean, for me, super energizing. It's the best thing ever, and that's why I love following you. I love that I ran into you. I think I ran into you through Dan Go because you guys are also supportive. You always post like threads like, "Yo, follow these guys for like inspiration and stuff."
And Dan's been an amazing guy, man. I agree with you 100%, man. It's kind of even what we were saying right before air, man. It's like, you know, whatever you're putting into your mind, that's what's going to come out. And if you're constantly going online, it seems like insanity to me. These people wake up, they go online to argue politics with strangers, all these things, man. Once you curate that feed, man, and I mean, every day I get fired up on there, man, because it's a list of freaking champions, man. I'm just interacting with people who want to be better. They're trying to make you better. They're trying to help you out. You're trying to help them out. It's just the greatest thing in the world.
It
know?
is. You meet up with people,
your energy
right?
too, brother.
Thank you, man. That's the best thing to hear. You meet up with people, right? That's like the most exciting thing ever. That you meet these you know, you're just living your life maybe in whatever neighborhood. I don't really know where you live in Vegas, right? That's kind of wild.
Yeah, we're like right outside Vegas, man. Yeah, we moved here like 2 years ago. We were from Illinois, Central Illinois, but yeah, we moved out to Vegas a couple years ago, man, and we love it. It's great. And I've probably met over 100 people now off Twitter in real life.
Isn't
man.
that dope?
It's so dope.
Is that the
That's
best?
like my favorite
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
saying.
it's the greatest, man.
Man,
I'm lifted with probably like 15 or 20 of them, trained with a bunch, you know. It's just,
and it also
fun,
keeps you
man.
sharp, I bet, right? Because all these people kind of maybe rely on you in a way. Like I do at least. Like if you suddenly had like a depressive episode and you started tweeting like a bunch of depression, I would be like, oh shit, now I feel bad. Like this guy isn't making life work. Like what am I gonna do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I've curated my life in a way, man, where I tell people this all the time. Like, it would be harder for me to wake up and be negative and not work out and be really pouty and stuff than it would to just, like all my inputs are positive, man. I surround myself with people who are just, like, getting better. I mean, I wake up, like, today, my text messages was, like, you know, one of my clients telling me that he's down 28 pounds. Another dude telling me, like, bro, yesterday was the best date I've ever had with my wife. We're connecting in these great ways. You know, I'm, like, getting wins all day from all my buddies. That's just kind of how
awesome.
I curate my life. And
yeah.
My life feed is kind of the same as my Twitter feed, you know?
I've heard it said that that's how you inspire a mentor or a coach. You know, they get inspired by inspiring other people, right? It becomes this huge fucking echo chamber of positivity, and it's awesome.
It's so true, brother, and I've seen it firsthand even in my house, man, where, like, you know, a few years ago I wasn't in the best marriage, right? And we weren't in a good spot, and
yeah,
I really
kind of
like... Yeah, I kind of like realized, okay, as a man, that's my fault, because what was I doing every day? I was waking up, scrolling my phone on these negative things, complaining to my wife about my boss, my clients, I didn't like it, all these things, and then, you know, once
you
I
weren't
decided,
changing
hey,
it, right? You were complaining and not changing it, yeah.
Exactly, and then my wife was just kind of a mirror to that, you know? Well, she was then complaining about the kids, complaining about these other things, and then once I realized, like, nah, man, we're not going to live like this anymore, I just started encouraging her, bringing life, all these things. Well, now my wife does the same thing for me, man. She's building me up. From the moment I wake up, my wife's telling me, like, you know, I walked by my bed today. Come here real quick. You know, she's like, gonna lick my abs and tell me that you're just so hot. You know, just like,
man, that's
these little things, man, just building me up all day, and I'm trying to build her up all day.
That's awesome to hear. It's one of those another inspiring thing. It's like, oh, so you can actually do marriage. You know, you can totally have a relationship. Like a lot of the time, I've doubted, like, you know, is it even for me, like relationships or whatever. But when I hear stories like this, I'm like, fuck yeah, because your life, you're a team, right? It's not just you versus the world. It's like your little squad you got, right?
Yeah, bro. I'm definitely I'm like wealthier because of my wife. I'm happier. I'm like just every area I feel like of life has been enhanced because of her. Like she's just always right there by me. I mean, I fired my company and I was making great money, man, you know, like 6 months ago just to kind of chase my dream and coach
You were
people
a banker,
online
right?
and I ran a bank. I managed a bank for like six and a
Oh,
half
you managed
years
a
and
bank?
yeah,
Wow.
for like
And you
six and a
gave
half
you
years.
gave that position away for like mental peace?
Yeah, man, I just like I hated leaving at 7 in the morning and getting home at 5:30 at night, and you know I wasn't like super passionate about what I was doing, and but I was making good money. Our family was living a great life, but my like the day I told my wife like I don't want to do this, you know, I want to impact guys, I want to coach people, I want to like do this other route. She's just like from the first second, she's like, all right, let's figure out a way to do it. I support you. Let's go, you know.
That's
And it's just
awesome.
like to have that kind of teammate that hops on board, man. There's like nothing better than that, you know.
I can imagine. It sounds amazing. And you were talking about doing a podcast as well, right?
That's gonna be starting up, man. Yeah, here in a few weeks, man. So I appreciate you giving me some practice here, my brother. I appreciate
Yeah,
it,
I was
man.
I was hoping you would maybe like when you start your own podcast, you would maybe like in your mind go, oh wait, I already like kind of experienced this.
Yes. Yeah.
And
How long have you had your podcast, man? Because I watched a couple episodes, like, you know, browse through. I just, again, I appreciate your energy, your enthusiasm. You got that zest,
you, man.
brother, which I
But
like, man.
Do you know what the point is? You like it's almost you know that old fucking like the first page, the first story in the Bible. I don't know. I've never fully read the Bible, but you know like Adam and Eve, they were in the Garden of Eden, I'm pretty sure, and then there was like an apple, and then that was or actually I think it was a fig, right? Because they covered their genitals with fig leaves. Anyways, that represents sin, right? And I think that my interpretation of it, and I'm not necessarily religious. I feel like I'm open to anything because life is so wild, and sometimes you run into these wild coincidences. And it's just like, all right, but the point is, what's beautiful about that story is the second that they gain the sin in this story is awareness to the other, right? The self and the other. And I truly believe that maybe we're all connected in a weird way. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Like super spiritual
Yeah.
and weird, but that's why it's so important. Like the way you talk to other people is how you talk to yourself, right? If you're gonna be shit, keeps coming back around. Like we've already addressed this, but it's the truest thing ever. It changes your life once you realize that. And that's what I'm saying. Maybe these bad, shitty people that have bad mojo, they never had a chance to have somebody tell them this or whatever, or to understand this perspective or whatever. It is sad. But
I definitely agree, man. I spent a lot of the early years of my life in my 20s kind of like chasing happiness, right? And like I hit it pretty big in poker, and so I had a lot of money and opportunities other people didn't have, and it was all like nightclubs, parties, chasing girls, expensive cars, you know, all these things, right? And it led to really like just unfulfillment. And
yeah,
I don't know, man. Once I kind of changed my mindset around to, hey, what's the best way in life to be happy, man? It's not what I can get, it's what I can give. And once you start approaching life that way, dude, it's amazing. You know, it's like then you're always in control too, because nobody can really steal your peace. Nobody
Yeah.
can really steal. You know, I don't really care what other people are giving to me because I'm more concerned what I can give to them. You know, and once you start living that way, it's a cheat code for life, man. It really is.
it is. And how are you with religion? Did you grow up religious? Your parent, your
Yeah,
family?
man. So. Yeah, I don't really like the term like religious at all. Like I have a deep personal faith. But I like religion to me is like a lot of rules. You know, oh you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't say this. And I think that drives a lot of people away from church, drives a lot of people away from God. To be honest, like to me, man, faith is just so personal. And it's like what you said. Oh, I'm not religious, but I take away this from this part of the Bible, right? To me, that's like the coolest thing ever because everybody will find different meanings from it. And it's so personal, and I think if you keep seeking that, eventually, man, like God will show you what He needs to show you, right?
And I don't necessarily even like try to be good because I want to like get to heaven or whatever. Like, ooh, just in case, whatever. It's truly, I don't know, man. It's there's no other way to live. Once you kind of start going into this whole gratitude thing, I love that you keep a gratitude journal. Congrats! I think you're like how many days? Like 1,100.
Today was 1,118 or something in a row, man.
That's
something
wild.
like that. Yeah, it's over 3 years, man, of never missing a day.
And
it's truly reprogrammed my brain, man.
Yeah, it's done the same for me. I feel like it's still doing the thing, but I already go like sometimes like today I like, oh, we gotta go into my day, man. But like today I was with my family, right, and that was one of those things, and I could ride that high that I got from that so long because I was like, oh, I'm so grateful, just like genuinely sitting there and just like they took some videos, right, and I'm just like genuinely a huge smile on my face, and that was the time I was, you know, that was the way I was spending my time, just like, you know, just.
Yep.
being with that moment,
there's so many
appreciating
moments like that I get caught up in during the day now too, or just even little things, man. Like my daughter just giving me a huge hug this morning and just wrapping her arms around me and just, Daddy, I love you. Can we snuggle for a minute? And it's just like, dude, my heart just instantly is like, I get to be her dad. I'm the only guy in the world that gets to just like, help her with all the little things she needs. It's just like, you're so grateful for all these little blessings that happen all day, man.
You know what else I'm grateful for? Segue. How you're so open about what it's like to be a dad and what it's like to be a good dad, how important that is. And like I grew up with a dad till I was 10. My dad killed himself when I was 10. And in hindsight, I mean, obviously for me that was super traumatic because I was a kid, right? But in hindsight, I don't think my dad was necessarily a good dad. Like he wasn't like a powerful dad like you, whatever. And it's so cool to see that represented, man. It's so important to see that it is possible all these people have all these excuses like, no, I can't work out, I gotta drink beer with the boy or whatever. I don't know. I'm not trying to like fill anything in, but it's incredible, man. Like I don't want to have biological kids, but I want to adopt. Don't you have foster kids?
We do, yeah. We have 2, man. And honestly, I can't really say it too publicly, but this won't air for a couple weeks. But yeah, we're probably a couple months away, man, from being able to adopt both of them. We're pretty stoked. We've had like 10 different kids in our house over the last year.
That is so nice. Congratulations.
Our 2 boys. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And yeah, kind of going back to what you said, man. My condolences with your father. And my dad had a really rough upbringing too, and his mom passed early, and then his dad passed early too. And his dad was a war hero. And really great in a lot of other senses, but not really in like that dad day-to-day stuff.
Right.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And so my dad really decided from an early time in my life, I'm going to flip the script and I'm going to be that dad who's like a really strong man in there. I remember going for runs with my dad, lifting with my dad, always shooting hoops with my dad. I mean, my dad got promoted when I was like 4 or 5 years old, and he turned it down for way more money because he said, I want to be home with my kids every day and I want to play with them. And we didn't have a ton of money growing up, but like I always remember my dad was there, like he was just always there. He was playing with us. And to this day, my dad's 64, and I will see friends that I haven't seen in like 4 or 5 years, and the first thing they'll ask me is, how's your dad doing, man? I miss your dad. He was always like shooting hoops with us. He was always playing with us, like, and so I wanted to continue kind of his legacy into that.
I bet he's proud.
Be a strong father figure.
I saw you guys live together. I saw you post some pictures a while back. You were with your dad. That was awesome, man.
Yeah. I mean, my dad's he's my hero, man, because he does prove, and like when you have children, let's say you do adopt someday, like I think he proves and shows like you can be the one that stops that cycle or that chain, and you can be that guy who says, you know what, forget this. I'm going to be the guy who sets this straight for my family here going forward.
You have to be, man, and that's why, like you said to me, and I thought it was so powerful. I felt so blessed when you said to me, like, our message, people need to. I don't know how you phrased it, but like our message can help people. I think that's what you said, and that's so true, man. Like people are gonna watch this, and I don't, I've done I think like close to 40 episodes right now, and I've basically made it my life goal. I feel like. Do you know the concept of like a specific skill, like something? It's like a concept, like just something that you were basically not like born for, but kind of like everything that you've kind of acquired, all the knowledge and whatever, it all piles into this one specific thing. And for me, that might be podcasting, man. Like I really love the editing. I got a drive for it, and it also keeps me healthy because I want to look good, on the podcast. I don't want to, you know what I mean? Right. I want to be healthy. Yes. I want to be a good example because I'm gonna feel responsible once I get followers and whatever. I don't know where I was going with that.
I agree with you, man. I think the most important thing in life is searching in yourself and finding that thing that makes you tick, right? And so that's, again, why I quit the bank, man. I had this great job, making close to 6 figures, a lot of vacation time, a lot of responsibility, a job that most people would look at and say, hey, yeah, like Ty runs a bank, he's successful, he's doing well.
I would think
so. It didn't make me tick. Yeah, most people would, but it didn't make me tick. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to spring out of bed to go sell credit cards to people. Like, that just wasn't my thing. I
get that, man.
My thing that makes me tick is like when me and you were having a conversation in the DMs, and when I can actually pour into other people and I can understand their story and we can figure out what makes them tick in their day and how I can make them better and how I can get people more fit and on fire, be better dads, be better husbands, be better people, like that's what gets me excited. You can hear the pitch in my voice change when I start talking about it. And so for you too, brother, it's like, hey, if I feel this passion behind podcasting, this is what I want to do, man, pursue that, run with that, and just put everything you have into it.
I got stickers.
Hold
on. Let me show you. It's so dumb because I'm like at 400 subscribers. I'm just like, if I'm really committing to this, I should just be doing shit like this, right? It's like the Philosopher's Stone principle. Turn lead into gold, right? Take something simple, whatever. My channel, me, just in my house, making the most of it. I'm calling you, by the way. I'm using my phone as a router, but that's the whole point, right? And I'm just like,
awesome.
Look at this. I made some stickers. I don't think it works with the camera.
That's awesome, bro. I love that. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's so fun, man. Yeah, this is really what makes me tick.
It's awesome, dude. And I will say this too, man. Like when I first started tweeting, and I was tweeting at 47 people or whatever. In my mind, I had 30,000 followers. They just hadn't found me yet.
And you knew exactly, and you knew that the way to succeed in life is simply by being persistent, consistent. That sort of stuff, like discipline, and that's at that point it's such a relieving moment when you find what makes you tick, and you just go into it. It's so nice. It really allows you to just mentally chill when I just have to keep doing what I'm doing because I know I'm gonna make it. You know what I mean? Yep. And some people might think that you're crazy. Like I've had friends that have they've supported me in a lot of other ways, like emotionally and whatever. When I was going through bad times, they were always there for me. But with the podcast, they simply don't believe in me, and it makes me almost want to distance from them. You know what I mean? Like I need this positive energy because I'm gonna do it. I'm the man. I'm not yet.
Yes. That's exactly right, man. No, you are the man. That's the thing, man.
Thank
you
you,
just
man.
keep you have that vision, and then you just walk out that vision. And people that are, I mean, dude, I've had family members, I've had friends who've been friends for 20 years tell me, you're an idiot for quitting your job. You got several kids. What are you doing? What are you thinking? Well, I'll tell you what, man. Last month I made time and a half what I made at the bank, by doing the things that I love, because day after day I wake up and I keep going and I keep going, and you do the same thing, man. And we'll see where you are in a year. I can bet where you are in a year, man. Let's say 10,000 subscribers and just keep going.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? If you feel passionate, and if those people don't support you, they don't belong in your corner. Then,
exactly.
That's the thing, man.
Be true to yourself. It's so important because that's the only way you can really be different, right? Like you can't try to be different. You gotta just be yourself, and that's the only thing. Nobody else can give the world that. Nobody else can do the podcast I do, and just have to have all the guests that I have, and get your perspective, get our dynamic right now. Like we're creating this whole dynamic by talking right now. Nobody else, you can't get that anywhere. But here, empty trips, here we are.
That's right, man. There's nothing more beautiful to me than a person authentic, and I say that to people all the time, like, hey, you really want to change the world? It's not like yelling at politicians on frickin' Twitter. You want to change the world? Be the best version of yourself. Find your calling. Find your purpose. You wake up on fire with passion. You pour into other people. Think if we all lived like that, man. If every single human was operating at their highest potential, doing things they love, dude, it'd be amazing. I mean, our species would just keep, I feel like there'd be no limit.
I don't mean, this is kind of a wild thing to say, but we could fix a lot of the issues that are going on right now in the world, I think, if we just focused inwards.
I map out my next days usually every night before I go to bed. I take 2 or 3 minutes and I just make an outline of what my goals are for the next day, what I want to accomplish, what time I'm waking up, what I'm working out, what my different calls, clients, podcasts, whatever I'm doing is kind of like a high level overview.
What are your workouts look like? What do you do?
Right now I'm gym 4 to 5 days a week, so I'm just
and you're just lifting on the machines, just bars and pull-ups, I guess.
Yeah, free weights. So I'm doing a chest and back day, push-pull day. So then I'll do deadlifts and legs one day. Then I'll do a heavy squat pull-up day. Then I'll just an accessory day. I call it a bro day just to get the guns. Just arm day. And then I'll just do a couple days. I do wind sprints at least one day a week, where I just.
What are wind sprints?
I do them in just as all-out sprints, man, where I just do 10 to 12 to 15, just all out, hard as I can sprint, 40 yards to 80 yards to 100 yards. Yeah, just hard, man. I just like to get my body up to just a high speed, man. It feels good just to get your body to top speed.
In a way, that's your life insurance, man.
Yeah.
Right? That's why you're that's why you're fit. That's why you're able to do the things that you can do. I don't think there's a lot of guys your age or dads, right, and that can still dunk. I saw you post a video on Twitter. That's epic, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, I'm about to turn 38, and I'm in way better shape than I was at 28 or 23 even, and that feels good, man. That's the consistency of just putting in work over these last 3 years, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. I mean, I plan on being 48 and in better shape than I am now.
Yeah, I saw one of the fitness guys. There's this whole side of, we talked about this whole side of Twitter that's just like super inspiring people, and they're all like super fit, and they're all like lifting each other up. And one guy was like, I don't really believe in retirement, and I'm like, it's good energy, right? Don't look forward to a time like I'm gonna chill and let it go one day. Like, no, I'm in it for
right.
It's your life insurance.
Yeah, I don't ever plan on retiring either, man. No way, man. I mean, if you're doing things that you love, why wouldn't you want to wake up and do them all the time?
Yeah, and if it's not the case, I guess you're not doing the things you love, right?
Exactly. Right. Then you should reevaluate. So what do you do for your like regular job, my man?
Oh, I'm a cook, man.
You really? That's so dope, brother. That's cool. You get a lot of ladies then, man. You can invite them over to dinner, man, cook out the spreads, man. That's a good way to get them.
Yeah, well, it's nice to be able to cook because it is a very when I have ladies over, it is nice to like cook for them. But I don't know, I feel like my last relationship was like I think it's like a year ago now, and I'm like I don't it's whatever. I'm over it, but I'm not like ready enough for a relationship or whatever. And there's like. Of course, there's chicks, but it's not really satisfying to me, and it's like a very classic thing, like, oh, you're getting pussy, and I've definitely said that, by the way. Like, I don't want to like, like I've literally said that on like previous podcasts, like, oh, I'm getting pussy, but to be honest though, that's not really satisfying. You know what I mean? When there's not like. Yeah. I don't know if I think they call it demisexual, but I don't know if I don't really like all those gender fucking. I don't like all the labels, right? I don't think it's good to.
Yeah, bro, I hate labels too, man. I mean, every day like on Twitter, somebody will tell me like, you're not a Christian because you like, I've said like, hey, I pop an edible from time to time, and I take walks at night at least like edible? Once.
Awesome,
yeah,
man.
Like once a month, I'll pop an edible after my kids go to bed, and I'll just take a walk out in nature. I'll take a journal with me, and I'll just write down stuff, and I usually end up like. Writing a letter to someone from my past that I really love, and I just thank them for like all that they poured into me, and my heart, like gratitude just pours out. And like I've had people tell me like, oh, you can't be a Christian and do that, or like oh, you curse occasionally, labels, you can't be a Christian and say that. And it's just like, dude, come on, man. Again, it's personal faith. I'm not ever gonna judge what you do. And I'm always gonna, maybe in 2 years I'll think I shouldn't do some of the things I do now. We're always trying to get better, right? But like,
yeah, then you'll figure it out. But right now, life. What you're doing seems fine, right? And that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Like, I believe, and then maybe my that's why I don't like labels. Is why I would never call myself religious. But I guess you don't either. That's why you use the word faith, right? Personal faith. Yeah. But it's so important to just live through those principles, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I mean, we go to church every Sunday, and it's a really open church. Like, they're really cool. It's a Christian church here in town, but it's like 10,000 people, and they're really big into like going into the community. Like, they have this thing called like God Behind Bars, where like they just go into prisons, dude, and they like try and give people hope, and like we serve them, and like
we go to like do they get treated all right?
Perfectly, dude. All these guys end up, when they get out, they have this huge ministry. They're all these like tatted up dudes in our church that are always up in the front row, like screaming, like, "Yeah, brother, preach it!" Like, and then you've got other people like that are in like suits and ties in the church, and that's what they want to bring to church. And it's like there's
no judging each other.
No perfect way and no perfect people that come to it. Like, church is for broken people, man. Like, faith is for broken. We're all just trying to get better every day. I'm a work in progress. You're a work in progress. Everybody is. And I feel like as long as we keep trying to, like you said earlier, look inward, try and get better, examine why we're here, what we can give to the world, what we can do better, then 100%. The world will be a better place.
I wrote down some notes. Do you think that before you were 36, you when you made your turnaround, what was the age?
34.
34.
Yeah, 34.
Do you think you weren't leaning into your masculinity per se?
Oh, dude, not at all. Yeah, I was, for lack of a better term, I was just a bitch.
Exactly.
In every sense of the word, bro. Like, this is gonna sound insane, but like, my previous girl was a vegetarian, and now my wife now is a vegetarian. I just became a vegetarian because, like,
they were doing it,
it's fun. I was a vegetarian for like 3 or 4 years, man, and I love to eat meat. Now I eat meat every single day of my life. Like when I started changing around, I just conformed. I wasn't authentic at all, and I just like conformed to whoever people wanted me to be, right?
Yeah.
And like so, there
You
was like
weren't
church Tyler.
assertive.
Yeah, not assertive at all, man. I'd go to church and I'd dress really nice and I'd try and take a nice picture and make everybody think that I was this nice guy. And then at work, Tyler, I couldn't say no. I had no boundaries. Oh, the boss needs me to work Saturday? Sure. Like, need me to work late? Sure. I'm your guy, Like, I couldn't say no to friends. They want to go out for beers. I didn't feel like going out for beers. Yeah, I was, man. I couldn't say no.
I
was, man.
I've been there, though. So, this is kind of icky to get into, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I'm at such a low level of subscribers. Also, I don't really believe in canceling. Like, I like to think, again, on micro scale, I might be able to figure it out if people ever get to me for shit I say or whatever, because that's a thing that happens a lot now to creators. But it's fine. Like, I'm here for it. But I think that a lot of people right now are scared to be masculine. You know what I mean? Because it's so, I don't know, like toxic masculinity. Like, I know it's real. I know that men have been assholes in the past, but for me, once I fully accepted, like, nah, I'm a man, I gotta be strong, right? I shouldn't feel like I gotta be humble. I mean, being humble is good, obviously, but I shouldn't feel like, exactly, like, have boundaries. Like, fuck yeah, don't, just be strong, right? Believe, fight for what you believe in.
Yeah, exactly. And like, my wife has told me since, man, that like she was begging for me to lead. Like, that was the problem in our marriage, is I was kind of a doormat. And like, women don't really want that. Like, of course, she's my equal partner. Like, I value her. I believe in servant leadership. So like, I lead our family, but man, I'm trying to like take things off her plate, do things for her, because then in turn she does things for me, and it's just this beautiful cycle. But she didn't want me to just be a doormat. No woman wants to be around a guy who's just a pansy. And in those other areas, man, I mean, I've cut off good friends, bro. I've had a dude that was in my wedding, that I was in his wedding. We were friends 17 years, and 6 months ago or whatever, I cut him off completely. Like, I blocked his number, I blocked him from social, just because like, I'm gonna have standards in my life, and if you don't meet those,
you up your standards,
you're not gonna be in my life.
Do you I imagine you still like pray for them to get better, right? To for themselves, right? To reach those standards.
Dude, I hope he has the greatest life in the whole world. I hope he makes $1 billion as a high energy dad. I hope he kills it, and I'll probably reach back to him at some point. But this was when like the elections and coronavirus and all this stuff, and all he would do all day is attack some of the things that I would say. He even called my wife behind my back about a tweet I put out about masculinity and said, I'm concerned that Tyler's like
becoming toxic,
trying to be this yeah, and like, my wife basically told him, like, dude, whatever Tyler's doing, I love it, because our marriage has never been better. Like, I think he's like learning from some of like Zach Hommels and some of these guys who, like, Zach was my coach for a while, man, and like, I think he's learning from some of these dudes who are a lot more masculine. He's becoming this better version of himself, and I like it. And I called him and I was like, dude, that's the biggest bitch move I've ever seen. Like, you got a problem with me, you come to me. You don't go to my wife behind my back. Like,
yeah, that is a bitch move.
That's the craziest thing I've heard. I couldn't respect it, and so you're not going to be in my life anymore. Again, I hope this guy. I know, zero regrets, man. I mean, I hope he is doing wonderful as well. His family's great, all this stuff. And again, at some point, maybe in life, we reconnect. But yeah, I can't allow that to be in my life, man.
Yeah, and that's self-love, man. I think.
Yes. 100%. I agree.
You gotta kind of protect yourself, maybe.
Yes.
I don't know if I fully grasped that concept. Like, I like having been friends for somebody for 17 years. Like, that's some real personal boundaries to go. Like, I'm worth better. And I don't know. I wonder if I right now have people in my life that I should not have around. You know what I mean? Maybe that's something that I still have to figure out.
I fired a few warning shots, man. I mean, I sent him one video that was like, he would just always dig at me too and put me down and things like this in front of other people. He was just this kind of guy, right? And
it wasn't like on your team.
Yes, exactly. It wasn't like a kind, like, yeah, some guys would just dig at each other. Like, oh, you're only benching that today. It wasn't like that. It was like, well, Ty didn't even graduate from college, like, so he doesn't know, yeah, just like stuff that, like, his wife has a PhD and he doesn't even have that, and
but
like,
listen to this.
Maybe his wife should
be
making
Tyler.
the decisions, Like,
this is how he talks to himself, right?
Yes.
That's very
exactly
sad.
Right. Yeah, and it is, and so I fired several warning shots. It wasn't like just one day I woke up and said, hey, I'm never going to talk to you anymore. I mean, I had a couple really hard talks with them, and I was like, bro, like, I love you, I root for you, but you notice I don't talk to you in this way. I always build you up. I always try and say like what a good dad you are, what a good, you know, like, so you're gonna either do the same for me and support the things I'm doing, or there's just this, our season of life that we've shared, or that journey is going to come to an end for a while. You know?
That's real. That's very real. Because you're basically losing your energy, right? You're losing your momentum, your shine.
Bro, every time I'd get text messages from him or talk to him, I felt my energy go from here to here. I felt my anxiety go up when I had messages from the guy, and I'm just like, it's not worth it, you know?
Yeah. I think Cynthia Thurlow tweeted. I don't know. There's so many people on my timeline, but
I love Cynthia.
Yeah, she's dope. I asked her to be in my podcast. She said yes, but I'm kind of like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for that. Like, I kind of just reached out. You know what I mean?
She's like more professional. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, she's like, she's awesome though, man. She knows. She was one of the first. Dude, she's a genius. I mean, she's been at this for 20 years, and she when I had 47 followers, she was the first person that ever like retweeted a couple things I said, and, like, would always engage with me, interact with me. She doesn't care like if you don't have as big a follow. She's just like a real authentic person, man. I've always really respected her, and I've tried to model a lot a lot of that as like I've scaled up a little bit too, you know. Mm-hmm. She's so dope, man. Yeah, she'd make an awesome guest. Oh, yeah, probably, yeah. It's every interaction. Anybody who's kind and like, I could care less. There's people I talk to off Twitter now that I've met on Twitter that have 7 followers. They just don't care, you know. Like, they're just like, I'm never gonna grow Twitter. I don't care. I don't care, you know. Like, some people are weird about that, man. Like, oh, I'm not gonna engage if he's, you know, he's only. I've even had people in my DMs be like, Tyler, you're wasting your time, like, on these littler accounts. I'm like, bro, that's my mission. Isn't just to get to 1 million followers.
And what is this guy doing? Not wasting his time by trying to tell you how you're wasting your time?
Right. It's so weird to me, man. Like, I'm just on there to have a good time, build people up, encourage people, make awesome connections, get better, you know?
Yeah. Well, but those, you know, I don't really know. The internet is weird, man, because it can be such a nice place, but also people get really angry sometimes, you know? Like, I used to be on Reddit. Are you familiar with Reddit, the social media platform?
Yeah, I deleted it a while back. I used to have it.
Did you delete it because people were shitty?
Yeah, it was weird space, man.
I used to love that shit, man. Rich Mickey loved Reddit. Just arguing with people all day, just showing how right you are. But you can't always be right. I feel like it's so important to not be scared of being wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 100%. Well, what was it Lawrence King tweeted out a couple days ago, and I retweeted it and screenshotted it because it was like, dumb people get into conversations to win, smart people get in conversations to learn. And I was like, that's so genius, you know? Like, yeah, it's like, I'll probably learn things from this conversation. I try and learn things from every conversation and just try and get better, you know?
That's why I talk to people. Sorry, I cut you off. There's like delay on Skype, it always happens. But
yeah, I don't know. I think I'll change views on things. You know, there's certain things that I probably won't. I have integrity. A few things, you know, I believe in certain things, but there's definitely things that I'll change viewpoints on as I hear smarter people than me talk about them and new information comes in.
Yeah, and that's also, I think, this is kind of wild, but I think that if you are able to acknowledge other people, like what other people say, if you can acknowledge that somebody else might be smarter than you, that's super valuable. That like it shows how much you kind of know yourself, right? Because you've got to, if I think of some like genius way to live my life, whatever, like the turnaround ahead, right? I gotta have faith in that, right? I gotta stick to it. I can't be like, oh, maybe I'm wrong, I'm a dumbass, whatever. And I feel like once you start believing in yourself, you can start believing in other people. Then you can actually learn from other people. Because when I have one of those eureka effect moments, like what I said about the self and the other, I was at some point, I think I was reading this blog post. I'll send it to you afterwards. It's a really good read. I might have already sent it to you. It's by Renee Girard. Or Alex Danko. I'll link it below anyways. And it gave me a certain perspective, and I had this eureka. That's the thing, right? When you go eureka, or like when you get an idea, whatever. Eureka.
Yeah.
Is that the name?
I don't know if it's called eureka. I know exactly what you're saying. Like an epiphany.
Yeah, epiphany. Yeah, like this light bulb, right? Is what this visual comes into mind. But once you realize that your own light bulb moments are very valuable, you can start seeing other people's light bulb moments, and you don't have to go through the shitty experiences, right? Like, you can look at somebody like Cynthia Thurlow who just, you know, talks about all this wild shit, like seed oils. Like, nobody knows this, apparently. It's like one of those things, right?
Yep.
And you can actually, you know, just straight up learn from it. It's awesome.
that's like the greatest thing about Twitter and the community that we're in too is, I feel like I get to not make so many of these mistakes because a lot of these people are just farther in the journey than I am, and so I just get to learn from what they've gone through and experienced, and they can teach us. And it's like I feel that way with Cynthia Thurlow a lot. I mean, I've never even heard of intermittent fasting or anything like that, and now since Cynthia, man, I mean, I never eat breakfast anymore. I used to eat 2 bowls of Lucky Charms every day, man, and then wonder why I didn't have any energy, and then I just started engaging with her. I watched her TED Talks, and now I intermittent fast every day. I don't break fast till about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock every day,
I'm
and
so
my
excited.
energy level's just through the roof.
I'm so excited for you to do a podcast, because you could have Cynthia on the podcast, have a conversation about that. That's awesome.
Yeah. You learn a lot, man.
Do you know what the name of your podcast is going to be? Where's it going to be on? Is it going to be on YouTube or in Spotify?
Probably YouTube, I would assume. Start it there, and then I don't know much about it, man. Just so I ordered 3 pictures here the other day to hang behind me. So when
Nice.
I like your backdrop though. Like we're in the freaking jungle, bro. This is sick. I didn't even know you could do things like this.
Me neither. I just randomly clicked on it, and it kind of works. It kind of fits the vibe we're setting. I don't know. I'm into it.
Maybe I'll pick your brain when when I'm really getting into the nitty gritty here in the next couple weeks on what to do, because I really don't know, man. I've never done it. Before I started tweeting, man, I didn't really study much, and I just started doing it. I just kind of learn as you go.
Listen to yourself. Like listen to everything you've said already on this podcast. You know exactly what to do. Like just go with the flow, be yourself, talk about shit you're interested in, and remember what I always say: there's no rules. Anything can be. It's just a conversation that's captured, right?
Right.
You just gotta. And ignore the haters, I guess, because you're probably gonna, you're kind of on the next level.
I'm used to that on Twitter, man. I mean, dude, you can I'll never forget the one day I put out a long thread about pursuing my wife and how when I knew she was the one, I pursued her.
I bet you were toxic as fuck, right?
Oh, dude, I had literally 300 alpha male bros the next day. You should never pursue women. They should cut. It's like, bro, just chill out. There's more than one way to live life.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, man, that's wild. But that's a good thing about blocking people on Twitter, I guess. Well, I've always learned to never block people. That's why Twitter is so great, because you can mute people. Because if you block them, you cut off the supply chain, right? You cut it off. They can't interact with you anymore. And if people are really that annoying, they'll find another way. You never get rid of them. You just gotta mute them. I feel like
that's
you know what I mean.
That's probably a better strategy, to be honest.
Yeah, because if you block them, they're gonna be like. I saw this with your guy. He got I forget his name. He got his account got suspended for a while, and now he's back.
Zach. Zach Hummel.
Yeah, but he got so much hate because he blocks people, right? People are all like, and then they come back like, "Why you block me, you asshole?" And I saw people tweeting his wife. I'm pretty sure. You know what I mean?
His wife makes a joke about it. These grown men are tweeting his wife, "Can you please have Zach unblock me? I want to see his stuff." And it's pretty crazy, man.
Yeah. Tell Zach to just mute him. Just mute him.
That might be a better strategy, actually. I think I support this now, because I've thought that too. Is when I block people, maybe they needed to see some kind of positive thing, and now they're that I'm going to put out, and now they can't see it.
And now they even might think. I'm not trying to put you down, but now you've blocked them, they might think that this positive way of thinking that we got going on is toxic, right? Because they have this negative interaction with it.
That's true. Yeah, that's
a
good point.
If that's true. I'm just talking out of my ass. But again,
that might be a good point. I'll think on that more, man. Muting might be the way to go.
Yeah.
Then you still don't have to deal with the negativity, but they're still there.
Yeah, and you just keep doing your thing, right? Keep spreading the love.
Yeah.
This should be the norm for Twitter, honestly. Everybody should follow at least one of the guys in the Fit Twitter. Whenever you guys do one of those big tweets, follow these guys for inspiration, wealth, everyone should at least follow one of those guys. You know what I mean? It's get some positivity in your timeline.
Again, man, it's what we were talking about. The first thing is whatever you put into your mind, man, that's what you're going to kind of regurgitate. Our brains are just kind of supercomputers, right? So it's if I log on to frickin' Twitter and I watch the news all day and all I hear is doom and gloom and division and politics and all this junk, man, I'm going to see the world as a really gloomy place, But if I hop on there and I get inspired and see people doing these awesome things, putting out these positive things, interacting with all these positive people, I'm going to see the world as this beautiful, positive place that's building everyone up. It's the same reality. It's just what's coming into your mind and
you're upgrading that machine, right? If your mind is a machine, you're basically replacing the parts, and
exactly
putting better ones in, right? Have you ever done hypnosis?
I haven't. I never have.
I think the term but I think the term hypnosis is kind of bastardized by street vendors and whatever. There's just a podcast, And do you meditate at all ever? Well, I guess you pray. I feel like it must be similar.
Yeah, I'd say same thing every day.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just a little bit.
So this is basically like a guided meditation session. The guy basically talks to you. I just put earbuds in and he just talks to you and kind of just tells you to relax every part of your body and just breathe slowly, right? It's like it's not hocus pocus at all. It's like super grounded. And then he basically like your mind has little grooves in it, right? Like your brain, and those are your, if I understand this correctly, like I'd hate to be wrong, being looking like a dumbass right now, but if I understand it correctly, your brain is carving out neural pathways, right? And that's how you perceive the world. That's we see the world through a certain lens. And maybe even if you looked at our brains, you'd kind of see similar things or whatever, because we have this certain vision, because we seem to relate about a lot of things. And then this guy basically talks to you and takes your mind through all the neural pathways it needs to draw to come to a conclusion. The conclusion could be quit smoking, right? He talks to you like, oh, you don't want to get lung cancer. Think back of like your first cigarette. It was a gross experience. You didn't even like it, and now you've been tricked by these big companies to smoke. It's not even your own decision, right? He basically gives you all these realizations. It's very cool stuff.
Wow.
It doesn't sound like you need it, but yeah, it's
that's very cool, man. Yeah, I like that. You're just reprogramming your brain, essentially, taking you back through those spots. It's cool.
Yeah, because
it's a very cool concept.
And that's also, to me, self-love, because, I mean, I don't want to be a bitch, right, obviously, but I feel like I was damaged for a while. Like, my dad and I have a bunch of scars. Like, there's been a bunch of trauma in my life. And I feel like I owe it to myself and the world, because I'm going to be a better, thing in the world, right? To fix myself, or not like fix myself, but like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like
100%. Yeah, you've got to be the best version of you. Like you're the only Mickey Joe in the entire world doing what you're doing, right? And so it's like, if you're not the best, highest version of yourself, if you just carry these scars through your whole life and you don't really heal from them, then hey, how many people like lost the benefit of you pouring into them because you're not your best self,
Yep. Yeah.
Again, that's where I think we all go back to, we are all connected, man. I really believe that in life. Like,
I think so too.
We are all connected, man. I really do.
Do you know that I pray sometimes? I don't know
what.
I just pray sometimes, but it's well, because I've even made jokes about religious people and how they just use there's a reason why I did that, the Lord must have wanted it, and then they do all this wild shit, and then they just, and then they, I don't know, there's a lot of, I've made jokes in the past about, toxic people, but there's toxic people anywhere. It's not necessarily a religious thing. But it's funny that I've been the guy who's clowned on religion, but also I genuinely, and I don't talk about this, but anyway, I'm broadcasting it now, talking about it, but I genuinely sometimes sit down, like, for example, when I'm working out, I sometimes really have like a moment of humbleness where I'm just like, if anyone's listening, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to do a good job, you know what I mean? And I don't know if I'm religious. I don't really understand what I'm doing, but
one of my earliest mentors was a preacher at a big mega church, man, and I love this guy, and he always used to say a couple things. He said, one, if anybody tries to tell you they have all the answers to the Bible, to faith, to religion, they're just selling you something. Again, it's really internal,
right.
And I really respected that. And then he said, he always issued a challenge to people who kind of didn't have any faith, and he said, just pray for 30 days in a row. Hey God, if you're real, just show yourself to me in the way that you want me to see you. And he said, if people really approach it with that kind of way, God usually does show himself to you in the way that it is. And again, your faith would never look like mine would never look like yours, and I don't think it should.
Yeah, and that's why that's something I would never accept about some religions, like the rules, for example, like even rules about like eating pork. Like it's like the Bible. I don't know, man. It's like, I couldn't be smoking weed, like you say. You have an edible, right? I think the worst thing you could do is, because I know somebody that does this, like near me. And it's a religious person, and he goes to church. But he used to be an addict, so it's also like a broken person that gets accepted into the church, which is a great thing, I think. But his issue is, I think, I don't mean to judge, but of course I will, because whatever. He says that he doesn't do drugs. Like he says, no, I don't do that. I'm a religious man. Like he labels himself as this religious figure. That's his identity, right? That he puts out to him, to the world, and thereby also to himself, right? But then he also does the drugs, and I think that's where the problem comes in, right? When you start to have all these weird rules, you know what I mean? It's got to be much more personal.
I agree, man. And I mean, what I really do with my faith is I study Jesus because I think he came to live a life that we can emulate, right? And pretty much if you just study him and the way that he lived his life, that's where you find peace, where you find happiness. I mean, all the things that he said, and Jesus didn't go like just hang out with a bunch of these religious people. He hated all the really religious people back in his day, man. All these people that were just like that. Yeah, these people that were like, oh, I'm so holier than thou because I can quote all this scripture.
It's almost like an ego issue, right?
It is, and he used to question them a lot and say, well, why are you doing it? What's your heart? You know, and if you really study Jesus, man, he was the dude down eating dinner with the people who all those religious people said, you can't eat dinner with them. You can't hang around those people.
Prostitutes, like, right? Jesus was big on prostitutes. Not like, that sounded pretty odd, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, go and sin no more, you know. He told many times, you know. And so I love reading about Jesus and studying his life because, you know, we joke Jesus is like the ultimate clapback, man. Like he hated authority. I'm not big on authority either. But I think his message, man, was just like if we all internalized that message, you know, of who should I love? Your neighbor and yourself and God, you know.
Love thy neighbor.
It's just like it's just such a message of peace and hope, and you can't judge anybody if you're really living like Jesus, you know, because he didn't.
Yeah. He's a great role model, regardless of if you're religious or not. If you ever read the Bible, like I have never read the Bible, I think it's a great role model. Like just if I mentally think, what would Jesus do? I mean, he would walk on water. Yeah. But
But if you just study like Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, if you just read that and you not even thinking like, hey, this guy's divine, but just study it like you would study a great leader from the past, you know, like just literally take some notes on the principles that he talks about, the way he lives his life. It's really powerful, man. To me, I mean, that's when I'm going to read the Bible, that's what I want to read. I want to study that. And again, even if you don't believe as I believe, I think there's still a lot of lessons to be learned from that.
Of course, because the worst case scenario, you're going to live a nice, kind life, right? It's like...
That's exactly right, man. There's not a lot of downside, you know?
Yeah, 100%. Interesting perspective. There was I think this is from your Twitter bio. There was you know how in the Bible you can have these references, right? It's like, I think this one is Jeremiah 29. It's the story of the people of Jerusalem who were exiled to Babylon. And this is my note. I can't quite recall where I was going to go with this, but I figured I'd just, cross off this note on my little list. God said to those people, build houses and settle down, plant gardens and eat what they produce. Marry and have children, increase in numbers there, do not decrease. Oh yeah, I remember where I was going to go. What's your opinion on that? Because it's I figured it was it's obviously very family oriented, I imagine.
So the one that maybe I have the wrong scripture in mind.
The one maybe I googled the wrong scripture.
It's I know the plans that I have before you. I'm going to give you a future filled with hope. I'm going to give you a future filled with I'm going to basically prosper you and give you a future filled with hope if you lean into me. That's what Jeremiah, the verse that I had, 29:11 in my bio, and that's for me. I think of faith in my life as God's my anchor, right? Like it's like I can't drift too far away from my anchor or I sink. Mm-hmm. And so when I think of that verse, that's what it means to me, is that, hey, when I ground myself and I think that there's bigger things in life than just my happiness, like, I got to pour into other people, be kind to other people, like this thing, it's more than just Tyler, right? It's a bigger mission than that. And to me, that's what faith does for me. Now, it might do other things for other people. I know, I talk to people who just want to be a good Christian because, again, like you alluded to, they just hope to go to heaven someday,
I feel like if you're living that way, you're failing to live in the moment, right? Maybe you're not, right. maybe, but it's the first thing that comes to mind because I can relate to it because it's not how I live my life. But, how can you live in the moment if you're just, always...
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like a weird trajectory. But who am I? I don't want to judge people. Like, they may be the happiest people on earth. I have no idea.
Yeah, as long as you're finding what works for you, that's great. And I think we should always be kind of, questioning why we do those things, But yeah, for me, that verse just means a lot to me. it's why I wake up and start every day with gratitude and prayer and just basically thanking God. Man, like, I have a healthy body, I have an awesome home, I have a wife and a family that loves me, I have people surrounding me that support me, and I get to do what I love every day. Just thank you, you know, like and I want to stay close to that, like, center, you know.
Yeah, you have
That's what a
reasons
lot
to
of
be
that
happy.
verse means to me. Yeah.
That's
And
good.
even if I don't, man, if I wake up tomorrow and find out I have cancer, I'm gonna do the same thing. You know, like, my external circumstances are, I swear, they are not gonna determine whether I'm happy or not.
You have cancer?
You know?
Man, I would probably get cancer because I'm still smoking nicotine. Nicotine's a bitch. Have you ever smoked cigarettes?
Not once in my life, brother. Not
Oh,
once.
bro, you skipped out on you had this whole party phase and you skipped out on cigarettes? Good job.
Yeah,
Are they big in
pretty much
America at all?
I mean, not in the circles I was in, man. Like, more drugs than cigarettes, I would say. Like, I've been to parties where there was just mountains of cocaine on the table and things like this.
Were you like a banker of like the big like? Am I thinking when I think of like the bankers in movies with that sort of deal? Because I don't think I've seen coke like once in my life. I've never done it, by the way.
Now, this is more when I was a professional poker player before the banking stuff, man. Like, in my early
Poker
20s.
must be a
and stuff.
wild scene too.
Yeah, it was a very wild scene, man. I mean, especially like in Vegas and parties when we were in our 20s and stuff, man. I mean, we'd have these parties of just stupid, man. I was one of the only guys who never did it. Like, all my other friends would they were just but I always knew I have a very addictive personality, and I think my dad scared me enough growing up to say, like, you know, you do drugs wrong once, like coke and then some of these drugs, man, it can end your life, you know. And I was just kind of scared of it.
That's where you're very fortunate because you had that moment, you know. It's like a lot of people that like that's why dads are so fucking important, you know what I mean? Like this whole masculinity. Yes. You need masculine. You need of course you need the feminine side and the masculine side, right? That's how you create a whole human. And I'm not saying, you know, well, of course you can be whatever gays, and I'm not trying to like invoke anything, but yeah, man, it's super important. And it's very, very fortunate to have experienced that. But because, you know, the people that don't have this figure in their life, like I just want to make it clear, I have a great stepdad, right? And you know, I have a great masculine figure, so I'm cool. I'm also blessed in that, I think. But you know, the poor kids, right? Who don't get that lesson, right? And then they go to a fucking party and they may think, you know, they hate their life anyways, or at least that's what they tell themselves, right? Because life is only what you say it is, you know. And then
they're looking for acceptance, and so their buddies doing it, so they do it.
And it's
right?
coke, right? Like one of the most addictive substances on earth, and then you're in this circle. Like Naval talks about this as well. Like I just love Naval. He says alcohol is such a hard addiction to kick because it's not just the bottle of alcohol that's the addiction. It's this addiction that you got to this thing that you're doing, and it can be anything, right? It doesn't have to be alcohol, it could even be weed, has this whole network of it's basically your life, right? Because you hang out with people, right, that are constantly drunk, and you probably don't even like these people when you're not drunk together, right? And then you have conversations you can't stand, and this is all Naval's thought process, right? Like, this is not mine, but I picked it up, you know, and it works for me.
And Naval's a genius, man. When he was on Rogan like 2 years ago, I have like 7-8 pages from that podcast.
Me
notes,
too, man. I made notes too.
That was like the most fantastic podcast I've ever watched. I watched that thing like 3 times, man. There's so many wisdom just dropped, you know. And
he gives it away for free. Like, thank you, Naval. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy the value he puts out.
That's what I'd like to have on my podcast. I don't know if he'd do it because I feel like Naval knows that being too much in social media. Like I think Naval has ascended in that way. He's just like, I'm not even gonna do social media because even that tiny bit of, you know, negativity, like I'm not into it. I'm just taking walks all day. I think that's what he's doing. I like to imagine he's just constantly in nature, just, you know, chilling with friends, family, whatever. Just living his absolute best life.
He's in a higher level, man, for sure. That guy is, Sometimes he'll drop tweets and things, and you're just like, it blows your mind, you know.
It does, and also I believe him. Like, I'd love to do a podcast with Naval as well. It's one on my list, definitely.
Bucket list, man. Keep chasing it, dude.
List, for sure, and for you too, I hope.
Yeah, who else do you have? Like, who's your, like, give me your top, like, 3 or 4 people, man, that you hope to have on.
Obviously Joe Rogan, but that's wishful thinking because he doesn't even do podcasts, so that's silly. But maybe when he's older, because he's probably also one of those. You watch him regularly, Joe Rogan?
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan, man.
He's just as motivated, right? More so than us, probably. Yeah. He's totally killing it, right? He's hunting and stuff. Okay. He's a crazy other level. But I feel like maybe when he's older, because he's gonna do this for the rest of his life, right? I might have him on at some point, or I might be on Joe Rogan. So that's number 1, if that counts.
Yeah.
Naval is a pretty big one as well. And there's just so many people, honestly, that I would, you know, the thing is, this is the best way to learn, right? Through conversation. It's such a valuable. I thought about this a lot. Like this. I have a whole theory to this podcasting thing. It's not just like I want to make money. I have this whole theory planned out because. And this is fact. Like, this is not something that I'm like, oh, don't set the bar too high. Like, I know this is how it works. Like, the best way to learn is with conversation. So, if my job is literally to talk to interesting people that can teach me stuff about the world, it can be anything, right? Like, that's incredible, man. So there's so many people I'd like to have on. Like, what if I want to learn about something? Like, my plan is to have a boat. When I'm living in an old school building right now. Which is really nice because it doesn't cost much, so I can just do my thing, and I got my job nearby, so I can just live out my 9 to 5 life until that YouTube shit starts happening, which is fine. I'm keeping it comfortable, keeping a good trajectory is pretty safe. Nice. I don't know. I have no idea where I was gonna go, but I want to have a boat, right? That's kind of my plan. Like once I start to have like 2,000, I guess, a month. Seems like a reasonable thing, because then you don't have to be stationed to a location anymore, right? You can just like you did that for a while, right? You when you did online poker, you just as long as you have a laptop, why not? Right?
Yeah, I just traveled everywhere, man. Yeah, for I think 1 year I took 14 vacations, man. I just I didn't even have a home base. I lived in Ireland a few weeks, Greece a couple weeks. You just went everywhere, man. Seems
like an amazing life. Or what was it were you in a bad spot maybe?
Nah, it was fun, man. I mean, looking back, I don't regret anything because you learn from all these experiences. But I think I was searching for a lot of things I didn't have then. I was like trying to prove to people that I was happy. Like looking back, like, hey, look at me, I'm in this sick spot in Greece with this sick all this stuff. Where like internally, I didn't really have a lot of happiness, so I was like constantly searching for it. Where now. Like, bro, I don't need anything to be happy, and I really mean that. Like, if I have my health and my family, like, material things aren't really going to make me happy. I'm grateful for everything I get and all the blessings, but, like, it's not going to determine my happiness.
Exactly.
Where back then,
so powerful.
I remember saying stuff like, if I don't have the best stupid stuff, like coffee maker, like, I'm not going to be happy. Like, so I bought this, like, $2,000 espresso machine. I didn't even really like coffee, it was just, like, this ego thing. Like, I wanted
to be the guy. Right.
Yes, I want to prove to people that I have this stuff, and you got to always go back and audit your intentions, and I think if I had done that back then, I would have realized, why don't I just put more of this money in the bank or invest it or, save it for a rainy day or, like to produce more passive income so I can actually do the things I want and I'm not tied to having to keep up with this lifestyle,
Yeah, I think Naval talks about this as well. I'm going off on Naval today, but it's fine. It's kind of relevant anyways. And he talks about humans are very funny because they always want to have something. Like, this is a big trap with money, apparently. Also something that I've learned without ever having to, have fallen into the trap because I've never had money, right? Because but something that I already now know going in because I trust in Naval anyways. He says people, you put this, like, you want this object, right, and then you work up to it and then you finally get it and you pay a lot of money for it and then you got it, but you're not at like this happier state now, right? You're not like a happier human now. You're gonna be looking for the next thing, right? And now you're still chasing this weird dopamine thing of like buying stuff. And I've honestly been there, like, even though I've never really had money, like I've had like sometimes dumb shit. Like, I always have this one specific watch. It's like a G-Shock. And I've had this one for ages, and I would like, this is like long time ago, right? When I was like 21 or whatever, I would literally like go online and like Google, like just get the same one but like a different color, because like, now I'm this guy, right, who wears, and now I got 2 different color watches. Look, I'm really, but of course it's not how it works. It's gotta come from inside, right?
Exactly. I put out like a really long thread like a week ago that got a lot of love on you got to unlearn a lot of these lies that society teaches us. And my first one was that society, like, you see all these happy celebrities, like, with all this crazy flashy bling and all this stuff, and it's marketing from the time you're 5 years old. They teach you that's the way to happiness, right? And we believe these lies, and then I think that leads to a lot of depression, anxiety, because like people wake up, they've chased this new car, this new designer clothes, this new stuff, and they realize after they buy it,
they see it.
Dude,
Those are their idols.
I'm not any happier, you know? And then so they chase the new thing, the bigger thing, the shinier thing, and they keep perpetuating this cycle without ever asking themselves the question.
Well, you do, right?
What
You did this.
really makes me happy? Yeah, I did for many years, you know? And when you really break that down, man, I mean, society, I just think it's a lie, man. And it's a lot of it's just marketing to sell these products, right?
Yeah.
But, like, once you kind of realize that and see it for what it is, like,
You got to break free, right?
Yes, exactly. And I kind of feel out of the matrix from that, man, because again, those things just aren't going to make me happy.
Yeah, it's true. I think so. You do weed sometimes. That's really nice. That's really nice, because I was kind of worried, like, oh shit, what if Tyler hasn't noticed or like hasn't seen that I've done that I do weed,
bro,
and then we go live and smoke a joint.
I don't ever judge anybody either, man. And like,
not in
my
my
best buddy
Christian
here in town.
podcast.
Nah,
You know what I mean, like.
Yeah, no, my best buddy here in town, Joey does quite a bit, man, and pretty much every time we hang, and like I said, once a month or so, I really enjoy it, man. Just popping an edible and walking, and I sleep really well. I full of gratitude when I do it. I'm a big fan. I used to smoke quite a bit, but again, I don't know. I don't feel like I really. I mean, I'm so like high energy and get up and go now that I think every now and then it's kind of good for me to mellow out a little bit,
Yeah, but if you smoke too much, you can't function too well.
Exactly.
Anyways. Like you kind of in conversations, you're kind of like, I mean, I'm doing great now, but if I was with my family, just being high, it was super weird. Like, I'm not into that,
Right.
But I honestly think
like everything else, you got to moderate it for yourself.
For sure.
Realize where that sweet spot is. For me, it's about once a month, once every 3.5 weeks, something like that. And I like it's when my kid and wife go to bed. When everybody's in bed, I just enjoy getting out. I usually do a barefoot walk, to be honest, like all around, like just be in nature, take a journal with me. I enjoy it, man.
Yeah, it's good, and I honestly think it's so weird how we're in such an alcohol society, and I feel like a lot of it's very like, it's almost like hypocrite. Like, why am I a drug user, right? Like, why is this? Yeah. I feel like weed. I don't think weed is more dangerous than alcohol. Like, alcohol kills people. Weed doesn't kill people.
Yeah, it's way less, man. Again, that goes back to marketing, man. I mean, because everybody who watches sports games has beer, and the NFL is sponsored by Budweiser, and so they just make these things normal. Society tells you what's normal and what's not.
Yeah,
really
I wonder why that is. Do you think that's
money.
Like this super? Yeah, but they could also make money off weed, right? Imagine, bro, I have to smoke it right now. It would be so much easier for me to quit cigarettes if I wouldn't have to smoke weed. If the company's like, if I could just go into a supermarket where there's racks of alcohol, like so much alcohol that will kill a man, right? You know what I mean? And it's just right there, and the kids walk past it. It's completely normal, and then it would be so cool to have just if there was like a weed drink, right? So I can still get my buzz on, or like edibles, because edibles is not really like you have to go to a.
We have that here in Vegas, man. I mean, I
is it legal in Vegas? I can't keep track.
Yeah, bro. Here, hang on one sec.
Oh, that's awesome, man. We're in the jungle. Woo! No, get the fuck out of it. What's that? No, show me again. What is that?
Yeah, I go online, bro. They just deliver it right to my door, man.
It's a brand. Then they have their own bag.
Yeah, Essence, man. I mean, there's like 100 brands here in Vegas, but it's legal. They tax it now. It's all good, man. Here in Vegas,
you guys
there's
have
like 10 states that have done it.
America has far surpassed us weed-wise. Yeah, it's catching up. It's better than the Netherlands, man. That would never be. The Netherlands is so like politically like old-fashioned still. I feel like I don't know much about politics though. I don't really like.
Not much either. Hey, bro, I got like 5 minutes left too. I'm getting a beep on from my wife, so I gotta let you know. I gotta wrap up in about 5.
Yeah,
we're taking the kiddos to a little theme park today.
Oh, how fun!
Yeah.
How's the weather? Is it like a lot of what's the time right now with you?
Bro, it's 11:15 a.m. What time is it for you?
It's 20:15, so that's 8 p.m.
8 p.m. Okay, I got you, man. So you're wrapping up the day. I'm just getting mine started, man.
Yeah, I thought about this, but we still both have sunlight, so that's.
Yeah.
You're so tan, by the way.
Man. What'd you say?
You're so tan, by the way.
Oh, bro, I take walks outside at least two times a day, man. Every day I'm like shirtless. Well, you know me, I never wear a shirt. I'm outside a lot, man. We go swimming with the kids. It's like 105 every day here too, man. So, Vegas, man, we got sun every day.
Yeah, well, you should be shirtless, man. Like you worked hard for that, buddy. You can inspire people, or maybe they, I don't know, get jealous, but that's their own problem, whatever. Yeah, no, let's wrap it up. Thank you so much for doing this with me, man. Like, this is what a ride. Incredible. Man, I'm gonna be riding this high for a while.
Joe, you're the man, and let's make a deal when you 10x. So when you get 4,000 subscribers, I want to come back on, and I want to do a celebratory. We 10x your podcast. Can we do that?
Could we both be high, or is that too much?
Yeah, no, that'd be great, man. We'll do that when my kids go to bed.
That's incredible, for sure, man.
Does that sound like a good plan?
That sounds like the best plan in the world. Tyler, have the best day, man. Have the best fun. I'll be thinking about you.
Yeah, thank you much, brother. I appreciate it. I look forward to connecting with you on and off the platform even more, brother.
Of course, man. Of course. I have a okay. I'm gonna end it then. I'm gonna end the call as well. I'll see you around, friend.
All right, brother. Thank you, man. I'll chat with you soon, dude.
Bye. See you around.
Thanks, man.
I'm so scared about the recording because the recording definitely fucking stopped at one point. Webcam's not on, that's fine. Yeah, man, the recording definitely stopped at some point. Oh my god, hold up, let me end the recording. Are we live? I think I'm live. Oh, I gotta pee real bad. And I still have a little joint to finish, and I will do that on camera. Is that guy even real? Did that happen? Wow! Oh. I'm a YouTuber, man. That's what I do. Tyler Todt. Man, I've been such a fan for this guy for so long. It's kind of wild. And we just talked. And we gelled. So well. He's such a cool dude. And he's a dad. A foster dad. You know? We get each other, man. Man, I told him that we might have similar brains. That's wild. I don't even know what I'm doing right now. I'm just kind of basking in the glow of that conversation. And you're here with me, man. I'll put some music in the background, right? It's always nice, right? My uncle makes the best music. And I tell him he should get a SoundCloud, right? You know what you should do if you're watching this? Put a comment and say, hey, yo, Mr. T. Because that's his name, right? Mr. T. Get a SoundCloud, man. Get the word out there. And also give people a place to get your music. Because, you know, you listen to it, it's kind of a banger. Tyler Todt. What's next? Incredible. Oh, by the way, Stridey got his stickers. This is MJ Trip stickers. Hold up, bro. Should I call Stridey? Might be kind of silly, but calling Stridey. He might not answer. He's on Do Not Disturb. Yo. How to I ruined this podcast. This was because his audio cut out, and now my fucking video corrupted at some point. I'll cut it together though, it'll work. He's not responding. Well, I can see myself anyways. Like and subscribe. Couldn't get kind of Stridey. But it's fine, it is what it is. It's also a little shout out because last week I did a podcast with Stridey. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. If you've ever watched the Oxcast, you know, go check this one out. It might be even a bit nostalgic for you. I tried to like really replicate the style. There were some errors with the transition of the voice clips sometimes, but it's just because I tried to sync the game audio and because the audio files are like condensed. The voice audio is on the same file as the game audio, right? And I really wanted to sync up the game audio, and because I did that, sometimes the voices, when there's like a transition from one screen to another, the voices kind of like they go double, right? There's one moment where I have a funny laugh. Wototo, by the way. Wototo. Wototo. Do you like the edit? It was like a high edit. When I watched it back and I was sober, I was like, this is so surreal. This isn't even like, is this funny? I have no idea. Wototo. Or does it just not make any sense? Wototo. Please like and subscribe. For real. Let's get it. Because we know we're gonna. Very, very nice thought to have, to know. Very inspiring. I'm very inspiring. And that's not an ego issue. Well, it might be. I might be like over the moon now because I got Tyler Todt on my podcast. Am I gonna turn into like an asshole now? Big shot. I gotta watch out. By the way, I just wanted to say, I know I always promote weed, and you should definitely try it, because like I said on the podcast, definitely, weed is definitely less dangerous than alcohol, I think. But also, you know, it really fucks with your mind. So, you know, if you have mental issues, I don't know, I don't really know, you know, it works for me, works for Tyler sometimes. Takes walks, kind of cool. I've done that, it's fun. But, you know, might not be for you. So, don't listen to anything I say. But, go with the flow, you know, and ride on my vibe. Ride on my vibe. I'm inviting you to ride on my vibe. Interesting. Oh, leave a comment. Make friends in the comments. Get to know each other. Tell Mr. T to get a. Why are you watching this? Go get a life. Tell a friend to watch the podcast. Okay, I'm done. Thanks for watching though, for real. I'm over the moon. Literally best day ever.
What was it?